Alexa Lavoie for Rebel News outside the Ottawa courthouse, where a hearing continues in Chris Barber's case. The Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms is pushing to halt sentencing. GCCF, who is currently defending Barber, argues he was acting in good faith during the convoy. Barber, who led the Freedom Convoy from Medicine Hat, Alberta, was escorted by OPP and Ottawa police into Ottawa. Arrested on February 17, he was convicted of mischief and disobeying a court order banning non-emergency honking. Barber claims he mentioned honking during what he believes was an emergency. Post-arrest, police seized Barber's phone, extracting over 4,200 pages of private messages, prompting a charter challenge for privacy violations of his side. Wednesday, Barber testified. Today, the Crown cross-examined, citing police warnings and messaging, and questioning his defiance of the honking ban. Barber maintained the protest was peaceful and lawful, collaborating in good faith with police, ending the day by saying if Justice McLean had ruled the protest illegal, he would have left. The Crown is seeking a 2-year sentence and the seizure of Barber's truck, Big Red. I spoke with some people on the ground here, and here is what they say to me. Hello, Chris.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Feel great for today?
Very good. Yeah,
Right.
slept well last night.
Perfect.
Good morning.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm
Nice to see
good.
you.
Good to see you.
Welcome to the Ottawa courthouse. Good morning. Enjoy your day. Thank
You're coming in support of Chris?
you. Yes, I am. Yes, of course. We started this together. We'll finish it together.
I think it's important to see it all the way through, to make sure that these things are not forgotten. There's serious issues going on in our country, in our society, and this is a big part of it. Chris and Tamara have been struggling against the full weight of the state, and it is an incredible force that has been pushed against them. And they're holding up very well, and we're coming right to the end of it. So we want to see them all the way through to the end so that we can get on to the next stage. And, these people have done a great service to our country to be able to withstand all of this, to be able to get to the end. The goal is for as many Canadians to understand what exactly is happening, and it is far worse than we're all willing to accept.
Chris and I both testified at the Public Order Emergency Commission together, so I got to know him then, and to me this is part of one perspective of our larger story, and I just wanted to be here to hear our side and his perspective of our side being told, and I just think our story really matters, and I wanted to be here to support him.
The day started off, it was the defense examining Chris, and they basically started off from when he started the convoy, I guess it would be Saskatchewan, and moving across, and trying to establish that he was working basically in good faith. So, what really stuck out to me was the first thing that by the time they got to the Ontario border, Chris was met by the OPP, the convoy was, and the quote used was actually, OPP joined the convoy, quote, joined the convoy. So OPP was in communication with the convoy with Chris, and they went across all of Ontario basically with an OPP escort until they arrived in Arnprior. And then from there, they moved partway in with OPP, and OPS, Ottawa Police Service, escorted them all the way into the city, in fact, all the way up onto Wellington Street, where Big Red ended up parked near I believe it was the Supreme Court of Canada. So that was kind of establishing, the intention on the way in, looking to work with police. And from then on, it kind of expanded on that.
What did you think of the cross-examination today?
It's more of a relaxed atmosphere. This is after the verdict. This is about the sentencing, and so the tensions are not quite as high in the courtroom. Chris seems very relaxed, and I think everyone is so familiar with the process now. It's been going on for so long. And so I think that, we all have high hopes, and all the way through we've had high hopes. And but we don't really like to let our expectations get very high because, it could go either way.
Yeah, the cross-examination seemed to be circular in its nature, the questioning, and kind of, really about what he didn't do or didn't say or didn't ask versus what he actually did and what he was doing at the time. And I think he was doing the best he could under the circumstances, and also just not really based on what, the reality that we were seeing on the ground, right? So when they say that it was escalating and becoming unlawful, we weren't seeing that on the ground, and the officers weren't giving an example of that or arrests. So, and same with the Emergency Act, right? We knew that it was unlawful.
Things they brought up were times that they were working with police. So Chris had interactions with a constable or Officer Botch from the Ottawa Police Service. I believe that was his liaison. So he was in communication via text and on the phone and in person with this officer. There was a time where they organized to move trucks. So Chris was interested in perhaps moving trucks from more, residential areas and making sure they were in a commercial area. So they were working together to do that, and a number of trucks were moved off, from different areas onto Wellington Street. So coordinated between, Chris and various other truckers and the police. So those are just a few examples of the good faith negotiation going on.
But regarding the big red truck, we are seeing that they want to seize it and to might destroy it. What is your view on that? To see that the Crown want to seize the big red truck of Chris Barber?
Yeah, I mean, this has been it's been like 3 years now of just crushing lawfare from the way I see it. And I mean, the Crown is asking for, I believe, 2 years in jail, significant jail time. And on top of that, they want to continue to crush Chris, right? This is a truck. It's not a brand new truck. He's had this truck for years. His kids were little, and part of this truck, they played in it when he was growing up. So what they're trying to do is take what's so important to him, something that's part of, his life, his family, really, and crush it as an example, to crush the will of other Canadians to stand up against tyrannical governments.
How do you see the double standard of what we are seeing right now? We see Chris Barber facing a really harsh sentencing, as you just mentioned, 2 years in prison and the seizure of his truck. When we are seeing anti-Israel protesters causing vandalism, intimidation, harassment, and also doing some attack on people.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally been the victim of some of these attacks, and I've witnessed many. I've posted videos of Palestinian protesters swarming RCMP vehicles in front of the Prime Minister's office with the Prime Minister inside. There were no arrests made then. There have been a few arrests over the last 2 years or however long it's been. Just recently, almost everyone charged had their charges dismissed or stayed. So they do not continue with this. They haven't put these people through the same things. If they get charged at all, it seems that the charges are getting dismissed. And I don't know who makes those decisions, but it all seems very, very, very hypocritical and the double standard, honestly, it makes me sick.
Because you were there during the convoy, what was your impression of that protest?
Oh, it was incredible. And for those that don't know, I was a resident of downtown Ottawa. I lived right in the downtown core. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that talk about all the horrible different experiences people had in the downtown core. I lived in the downtown core, and it changed my life. It saved my life, honestly. I'd been stuck downtown a year. It was terrible. It brought hope, and I didn't witness a single bad thing, really. From the convoy, I witnessed people coming in and attacking convoy, all kinds of other stuff. But it was nothing but hope and love for me.
Yeah, the protest for me was essentially a healing circle of some kind. So, when people come together and they come together and share an experience, it was very healing. We all got to share our stories. We got to cry and acknowledge the hardships we've been facing the last 2 years of our life. And it was very validating. And to see our whole country kind of come together was amazing. And to me, it was very, very peaceful. And everyone there knew that our position in this protest was founded on the fact that we would remain peaceful and lawful until the end, and we all did. We had a right to protest.
So Chris Barber is not the only one facing prosecution. There is Tamara Litch. She's being represented by TDF. So if you want to support her challenge, you can donate at helptamara.com. So go over there and chip in what you can.